Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to today's Read Aloud. I want to read you a really lovely story that I think you'll really like. It's kind of long, but it's a really great story, and I chose it today for a very special reason. It's called Teddy's Easter Secret. Can you look at the cover and tell me why you think I have chosen to read this book today? You're right, I chose this book because Easter's coming, and I thought it would be fun to do a Easter read aloud. Teddy's Easter Secret by Gerlinda Weinkurtz and illustrated by Giuliano Lunelli. Teddy's Easter Secret. And we read our title again, Teddy's Easter Secret, on the title page. Teddy was angry. Paul had left him behind in the sandbox. They had been playing together so nicely. They built a castle and dug a long tunnel, and then Paul got hungry and ran into the house. And gradually it grew dark. Teddy should have been snuggled up in Paul's warm bed, but here he was in the cold sand, tired and all alone. And then suddenly he heard some rustling noises. The sound came from the hen house. So carefully Teddy peered over the rim of the sandbox. It might be a fox, he thought. But the hens were silent, and the rooster didn't even crow. Their silence was even more mysterious than the soft noises Teddy could hear. And then Teddy saw something amazing. A rabbit ran out of the hen house carrying a basket full of eggs. What would a rabbit be doing with all of those eggs? Teddy wondered. Why do you think the rabbit needs all those eggs? That might be a good prediction. Let's keep reading to find out. And without thinking, Teddy jumped up and ran after that rabbit. And by the time he was through the trees behind the house, the rabbit had almost disappeared over the hill. Teddy stood for a moment, unsure about what to do. And then the moon slipped out from behind a cloud, and he could clearly make out the rabbit's tracks in the damp grass. So Teddy followed the footprints to the edge of the woods. In the dark, it was dark in the woods, and Teddy did not like it one bit. And a voice hooted down, making him jump. Who are you, and what are you doing? And Teddy looked up and saw an owl. Oh, I'm solving a mystery, said Teddy, and he told the owl what had happened. I see, said the owl. Don't you know what day tomorrow is? Yes, I do, said Teddy. Tomorrow is Easter. That clue is as important as your rabbit tracks, said the owl. Come with me. She brought Teddy to the top of the hill where they could see beyond the woods. Do you see the lone pine tree standing on the crest? Asked the owl. If you follow the maple trees through the woods and climb the hill to the pine, you'll be well on your way. But what then? Asked Teddy. The owl just turned her head all the way around and whispered, It's a secret. I wonder what the secret is. Do you have an idea yet? The forest was horribly dark and scary. Every creaking branch and fluttering bat made Teddy freeze. A mouse dashed by his feet, and Teddy leapt into a tree. And then he just laughed at himself. How silly he was to be scared of a little tiny mouse just because it was dark. Feeling braver, he went on. It wasn't much further to that big pine tree. A branch snapped, and two large eyes glowed in the darkness. It was a fox. And Teddy held his breath and tried to blend into the tree bark. Foxes ate hens and eggs and rabbits. Had that fox feasted on his rabbit that he was trying to find? But the fox just slunk past, and so Teddy was able to go on. Whew. Finally, Teddy was out of the woods, and there on the hill was the lone pine tree. And now what was he supposed to do. He spied a narrow path that led through a row of wild raspberries, and bending low, Teddy slipped right through. Before him lay an enchanted meadow filled with busy rabbits painting thousands of eggs. "Who are you? And what are you doing?" Teddy looked up, surprised. A very old, large rabbit was glaring at him. "I'm trying to solve a mystery," Teddy said, smiling happily. "I think you must be—" "The Easter Bunny," he said, the old rabbit, still a bit gruff. "I'm Teddy, and I'm ever so pleased to meet you. You see, I saw a small rabbit run away with our eggs from the hen house, so I followed him here." "Well, we'll just have to be more careful," said the Easter Bunny. "But now, what should we do with you?" And he scratched himself thoughtfully behind the ear. "Well, since you've discovered our secret, you might as well help us get ready." So on that magical night, Teddy got to work alongside the Easter Bunny's helpers, painting eggs for all the children. "Where do you get the paints?" Teddy asked. "We mix them ourselves from tree bark and leaves, blossom and plant juice," said the Easter Bunny. "Be sure that no two eggs are alike. We pride ourselves on making each one unique. And be careful of the dye. It doesn't wash out easily." Teddy promised to be careful, but he soon forgot. "Yikes! Watch out!" cried the little rabbit. Too late. Teddy had a thick blue splotch of paint on his cheek. They filled up baskets with the painted eggs, and then the Easter Bunny passed out the addresses of all of the children the baskets should be delivered to. He gave Paul's basket to the little rabbit. "And take Teddy with you," he said, "so he doesn't get lost in the woods." And then the Easter Bunny took Teddy aside. "Now you must promise me that you will never share our secret with anyone." "Not even the hens? Not even Paul?" asked Teddy. And the Easter Bunny shook his head. "Not anybody." And Teddy thought of all the wonderful things he'd seen and done that night, and how he could remember them even without talking. And he slowly nodded. "All right," he promised. "I won't tell." Then Teddy and the little rabbit set off. "What do we do if we see that fox?" asked Teddy. "Oh, foxes leave us alone at Easter," said Little Rabbit with a laugh. And the basket was rather heavy, so Teddy and Rabbit took turns carrying the basket to Paul's house. "And now you can be an Easter Teddy," joked the rabbit. The sun was already starting to come up when they climbed over the fence. "We have to hide the eggs well," said Teddy. "Paul is really good at finding them." And when they were all finished, the little rabbit waved goodbye and disappeared among the trees. Only then did Teddy notice how tired he was. He had been out all night long, and he curled up again in the corner of the sandbox and soon fell fast asleep. He slept until the sun had risen high into the sky. He was still sleeping when Paul took him into his arms, and he pretended to be asleep when Paul asked, "Teddy, how did you get that blue spot on your cheek?" Teddy wanted to tell Paul all about his adventures, but he had promised to keep the Easter Bunny's secret. So he kept his eyes closed and snuggled down deep into Paul's arms, while Paul searched high and low to find all of his beautiful Easter eggs. The end. Well, I think we all know how Teddy got that blue spot on his cheek. But my challenge to you today is to draw 2 Easter eggs. In our story, the Easter Bunny tells Teddy that Easter eggs are carefully decorated and no 2 Easter eggs are the same. I want you to get out your crayons and a piece of paper, or if you have paints at home, maybe Mom, Dad, or Grandma or Grandpa will let you use some paint, but go ahead and draw and decorate 2 separate Easter eggs so that they don't look the same, and send a picture of your drawing to your teacher. I hope you enjoyed today's Read Aloud, boys and girls. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.